Welcome back to BWO Daily, your source for news in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling from your boys at Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. And today, Nick, we have to talk about an interview that happened over on What Culture. Adam Wilborn, our dude Adam Wilborn, was interviewing Le Champion, the GOAT, Chris Jericho, and got some tasty tidbits out of him. Now, if you want to hear the whole interview, you can head over to whatculture.com, give them the hits, give them their bump on their YouTube site. But I will tell you this, some of the stuff that came out of Chris Jericho, when he was asked, like, if you could have anybody in AEW, who would you have? The person that he said he wanted the most, Roman Reigns.
What?
Roman Reigns. So Jericho, yeah. He said that, quote, I'd put Roman Reigns at the top of that wish list for anybody. Not only is he a great worker, but he's such a cool guy. If they just let him be him, he'd be the biggest star in the industry for real. That'd be a guy I'd love to get my hands on for sure. So Jericho putting over Roman and saying the option ever came up, I'd take that guy. Can you imagine Roman Reigns kind of off the leash, if you will, in AEW? The big dog off the leash?
Well, you wouldn't have the big dog just constantly getting roared out by... that is making my head explode like the guy in Scanners. Like I see it. I see what he's talking about. I understand that. Locker room leader, great dude in person.
Yep.
Good moral figure, all of that stuff. I get it. But I can't get past Shield SWAT vest and SWAT boots.
Yeah, how would they repackage him? Like what would they do? How would they present Roman? I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Like, what do you do with a Roman Reigns when you get him? And not only that, you hear from wrestler after wrestler how easy it is to work with Roman Reigns. In particular, I remember Finn Balor, who's been all over the world and wrestled everybody, saying, like, dude, I got in the ring with Roman and it was like butter. Like, the guy is so smooth and so good. But does Roman have like a hidden cache of resources to bring to a match in an AEW style? Do you know what I mean? Like, can he just work that WW style, or can he go deeper? I'd like to think that he could, and I'd be fascinated to see if he could. But would he survive? He's made by WWE from scratch. He's a WWE creation, performance center, everything. So you look at Roman and you go, could he adapt to a world outside of WWE? And I think that's a big if, personally. I mean, obviously, I don't know the guy. I've never wrestled him, so it's complete speculation for me to say that. But I'd be fascinated to see him.
I'd love to see if he has, like you said, the cash. If he's got more of that, more than the 3 moves of doom of Roman Reigns. Could we see the big power bombs come back that he used to do that we really haven't seen in a long time? It's all spears and Superman punches now.
I've seen him work longer matches. You see him work longer matches, and he definitely has more moves, but it just all seems to fall into the certain, WWE patterns of matches. So, yeah, I would love to see him kind of spread his wings. And the fact that WWE has been intentionally not showing him in any of their video packages and any of their promotions recently, I think the logical reason for that is that you're trying to build other stars. You're trying to not remind people of this big star you've been pushing on us for years. And so they're trying to not take the spotlight off of their current roster. Roman's out for an indefinite period of time because he just had babies.
Yeah. Babies, twins again. This is their second twins, I think.
Right. So he's out until who knows when. So the fact that
I hear you, Super Roman.
They're not showing him. People have been speculating it's because they're mad at him for ditching out in the middle of this whole thing that's going on in the middle of the pandemic era. But, it also could just be they're trying not to upstage everyone currently on WWE and have it be a big deal when he comes back. So call it what it is. But there's definitely people out there who are saying Roman might be on the outs with WWE. I think that's a long shot, but it does make one thing.
Big long shot. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Me neither, but it certainly does make it interesting when Jericho's going, I'll take that, dude. Tony, bring out the wallet. Jericho also said that, he was comparing and contrasting working in AEW and working in WWE. He said, look at Moxley now compared to where he was in WWE. Look at Brody Lee. They wouldn't even put him on TV. Now he's headlining pay-per-views and kicking ass while doing it. He also talked about Jake Hager. He said that he always knew what Jake Hager could do and that they didn't let him do that in WWE. And now he's the killer of the inner circle. Jericho says, quote, he's beating the shit out of people. He looks good and he's big, like How could you mess up Jake Hager in the pro wrestling business? I'm not bagging on them, WWE, but they do things differently from AEW. I want to do things like AEW until the end of my career. So maybe saying he's never going back to WWE. So.
Oh, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's got it made in AEW.
Dude, I mean, but can you imagine WWE saying they have a Hall of Fame and not having Jericho in it?
No, I cannot imagine
at this point. If Jericho retires in, let's say 10 years, just to pull a number out of the sky, 10 years, Jericho retires. Can you imagine if they're so mad at him about AEW, or just business, just even as business, they don't want to put him in the Hall of Fame. Jericho, not in your Hall of Fame is illegitimate, if that's the case. Just
exactly. Never mind. I'm not going to say that out loud.
Yeah. Probably wise. Let's move on because there's also some sad news we got to talk about. Some injury news. Big news breaking over the weekend. Kris Statlander apparently last week on Dynamite. She went for an extra dive outside the ring onto Kip Sabian, and apparently that was one too many. She landed on her knees and blew out her ACL. Apparently is a high-grade tear in her ACL. So she is out for a while. That's 6 to 9 months at least with rehab and everything. Although she does say she will still be on TV as much as possible. You look at what they're doing with Britt Baker to keep her relevant with her injury. You would have to imagine they could do stuff like that with Kris Statlander. And honestly, Nick, I think that's the best thing for her. Her character is kind of flat right now to me. She's an alien. Boom, that's it. This gives her time to really fill that out. So
don't aliens have newer technology where they don't have to depend on things like ACLs? Can't she get like a hovercraft to bring her to the ring, and they can have a Britt Baker versus Kris Statlander in a wheelchairs match? You know?
Well, you see, Nick, it's really simple how to explain this to you because she didn't tear her anterior cruciate ligament. She tore her alien cruciate ligament. So that's actually why this is a big problem. That's actually something the aliens have no defense for. So it's she's kind of screwed on this one. Also messed up. What the hell was that? Also, Edge. In the pre-taped greatest match ever, which was really freaking good. And yes, we know they're only calling it the greatest match ever for search engine optimization. It was just a way to show up. If people search for greatest match ever, they'll find this match every time, which is just telling about the state of the industry when search engine optimization is the reason you create a match. I'm just going to leave that hanging in the air. But because they needed that match to be at the top of people's Google searches, Edge tore his tricep. And you could actually tell in the match that he tore his tricep because he started to bruise up on one arm. But we don't know when exactly it was. There was so much retaping and reshooting of spots in this match, and then it was all cut together, that we may have not even seen the moment where he actually tore his tricep.
I believe it was at the ring post spot where Randy pulled his arm through it. That's my guess and my speculation, because you could see him kind of do one of those immediately as he fell to the floor.
Yeah, and who knows? It could have even been before that, and they sold it on that spot. Who knows? Yeah. There's the likelihood is we didn't even see it.
Right.
We'll never know because they edited that match together like a movie as opposed to letting it just be an actual wrestling match. So there's also the debate raging right now as to whether we can call it the greatest wrestling match ever when it was more like the greatest wrestling match filmed as a movie ever. But that's a discussion neither for here nor there. Edge has a busted tricep now. So that means he's out for at least what, Nick? 8-9 months? That's a long time.
Minimum 6 months.
Yeah.
Minimum.
If he's John Cena, Wolverine healing factor kind of thing. So
you're a 50-year-old man.
He's not 50, he's in mid-40s. Oh God. Yeah, it must be. It must be, huh?
Edge. Yeah.
Good Lord.
So I can say as a 43-year-old man that I had my bicep tendon repaired in February, 4 months ago, and I'm just now getting full mobility back in my shoulder. So triceps aren't as near as bad, but you're still going to have to rehab not only the tricep but your shoulder. It's going to take some time.
Well, if there's one thing,
6 months.
If there's one thing that we know, he will come back. He will heal because he's got grit.
Yes.
Grit.
Yes.
He'll be back. I can't wait for him to come back, hopefully around WrestleMania. Looks like a good time for his return, and then we can have another big welcome back Edge party when there's actually people there, hopefully. So that will be awesome.
Just in time for Royal Rumble, too, by the way. I should throw that in there.
Right around there.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
he can hop on the bicycle in the side carriage and ride on the road to WrestleMania. It'll be great. More news from Backlash last night. Dave Meltzer, Uncle Dave reports that the match ending for Asuka and Nia Jax was changed. Originally, it was going to be a clean finish with Asuka going over, but the day of the show, it was changed to have the count out finish, which made an already mediocre match turn into absolute crap.
Right.
Oops, opinion. So what do you think was the reason for that, Nick? Is it because Heyman's out, Pritchard's in, he's got different plans for the Monday Night Raw women's title scene?
I'm gonna guess that they might want to be pushing Nia a little bit harder, so having a no DQ finish
protects her a little bit.
I would default the finish of this match to Asuka retaining somehow. Maybe that was some kind of DQ by Nia, but the double countout extends the program that we know was supposed to be other things up until a few weeks ago. So now they've got to rethink this whole story. Charlotte is back in the picture now in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see what happens as we head now towards Extreme Rules and onward to SummerSlam later in August. Who knows where this is going to go? I hated the fact they did this match in the first place, much less a double countout. So I need Asuka to have a title reign for some period of time.
Yeah, they were going to do this match regardless. As you said, originally it was supposed to be Nia and Becky having a feud. Yep. Obviously, Seth Rollins and Becky had different plans for this year, so that was scrapped, and now we have Asuka versus Nia. So while I think that it makes sense to extend this feud for longer, it is disappointing. I would have liked to see an Asuka go over as well. But if their plans are to extend it, this was the way to do it. So it did in that sense make sense if they wanted to have more matches later on and keep Nia strong for that. Right. In New Japan news, right here in Los Angeles, they filmed TV for the Lions Break Collision, which is an LA Dojo show. They're going to be doing some stuff on the LA Dojo. Talents included in this 9 to 10 episode program were Jeff Cobb, TJP, Rocky Romero, Clark Connors, Alex Coughlin, Carl Fredericks, the filthy one, Tom Lawler, and Mysterioso. Yeah. So PW Insider is saying that they've filmed 9 to 10 matches, no crowd, social distancing enforced, but we'll see. New Japan is back. They want more content, and it sounds like they filmed us some content here in Shibata's dojo. So color me interested.
That's amazing. In other news, if you haven't seen it yet, props and hat tip to Mr. Kevin Kelly himself. He put up a baller 10-minute hype video on the New Japan Cup that's starting this week. And it's basically around the beginnings of Okada that led ultimately to the formation of Bullet Club, and that kind of moment in time, that capsule of everything that has kind of happened in the last 6 to 7 years is really, I had never put my head around completely how important that New Japan Cup from 2013 was. Huge. It was sort of the last hurrah of Tanahashi leading to the rise of Okada and the formation of Bullet Club sort of at the end of it with Prince Devitt. And you're just going, oh my God, this was a lot more important than I remembered it being. Knowing what we know now, right?
Definitely shout out to Kevin Kelly. Definitely shout out to the quality quality of work he's putting out over there, including going back and putting classic matches in English commentary. It's a bummer he won't be there, as far as we know, for most of the New Japan Cup, just because of travel restrictions, etc.
Right.
But hopefully he'll go back and put commentary on those later. Fingers crossed, because he's doing a fantastic job over there. So yes, props to Kevin Kelly. Looking forward to Lions Break Collision right here in LA. And finally, Nick, on the show today, got to throw a happy birthday out there to Chuck Polumbo. He turned 49 today. I wonder if he's ever going to show up in AEW and reform Chuck and Billy with Billy Gunn. One can wonder about the possibilities. Also, Scott Norton, Mr. Strong Style, turned 58. If you want to see some cool matches of Scott Norton, don't watch WCW, watch New Japan. The guy was an animal over there. And finally, the huggable one. Oh, excuse me, she's not huggable anymore. The role model, Bayley, has turned 31 today. Happy birthday, Bayley. Congratulations on your title retention last night. And excellent job being the role model of SmackDown right now. So happy birthday to Bayley.
Happy birthday to Chuck, Scott, and begrudgingly, yes, Bayley.
I mean, begrudgingly, you mark.
Happy birthday, Bayley.
And that is the news, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Sir Ian Dangerous, and thank you all for tuning into BWO Daily. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel by banging that red button down below and turn your notifications on so you get notified anytime we put up a new video or go live on Tuesday evenings or Saturday afternoons. All the links to all of our groups, our Discord community, which is really exploding, all down in the description down below. But my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
And we will see you guys next time.